I don't think so. We had a whole civil rights movement, I don't think that was very
Why did
chill.
black
You got a
people have
problem with the civil rights movement?
Because they were being discriminated against, so they
You
started
think they should
civil
still be slaves?
What?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they weren't chill with being discriminated
You think that we should still have them at the back of the bus?
No.
Like,
What?
these things happen so that we could have equality. Why is equality difficult?
How is it?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have got something that I think a lot of you are going to have strong opinions about. This is a face-to-face sit-down between conservative white women and liberal white women, and they are going head-to-head on white privilege, affirmative action, the prison system, and whether discrimination can actually go both ways. And let me tell you, the moment one of the conservative women flips the civil rights argument back on the liberal side, and the liberal woman accidentally proves her point for her, that was one of the wildest exchanges I have seen in a long time. You are definitely going to want to stay for that one, because the reactions only get better as this thing goes on. Before we get into it, drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from today. I always love seeing how far this community reaches, and it genuinely makes my day reading through those. Alright, let us get right into it.
White privilege is a real thing in America.
Yeah, I mean, what's an example, I guess?
Black people, when they drive at night, are less likely to get a speeding ticket than when they drive during the day. A black person is significantly and statistically less likely to be pulled over by a police officer when they cannot visually see their color. That tells me that white privilege is real.
What about like Asians? What about them? Like, what about like black people versus like Asians or Hispanics or something?
I'd say it goes for Hispanics as well. You know, it's just a lighter shade, so they're just as much a target.
And I'll say this, I got pulled over and nothing happened.
Were you doing something illegal?
Cameras are on? Yes, I was. I was intoxicated. I was 19 at the time.
Good for you.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Do you think that's ever happened to a black person? Or
I think that what we're saying about white privilege is not saying that this has never happened to a white person. Like, we're not like, oh, white people never get pulled over for speeding tickets. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that because I'm white, I get to exist in privilege where I'm less likely to get pulled over for a speeding ticket. And maybe if I get pulled over for, I don't know, a DUI when I'm 19 years old, they might let me off scot-free while simultaneously sentencing a black person who did the exact same thing 2 years in prison. And we know for a fact that people of color have longer prison sentences than white people. And it's not because they're committing different crimes. It's because they have a different color of skin.
I'm actually curious to know why, from where you're sitting, you say there is no white privilege. While saying that, you are ignoring the voices of all of these minority communities.
We didn't say there was no white privilege.
Okay.
We just disagreed with it. I mean, I personally have never had any instance in my life because I was white that I was liked better or got off on anything better or didn't have to pay my taxes because I was white or absolutely.
I mean, I can think of examples.
Anything.
I can think of many instances in my life where I've lost opportunities for not being a person of color. Like, I've literally been told, you're not getting this job because we need more diversity.
Mm-hmm. So I
would consider that, like, I think there's actually, like, a colored privilege in America.
I mean, that's happened to me, too. I'm okay with
I feel like if that happened to a black person, they would, like, win a lawsuit, but it's, like, perfectly legal to discriminate against white people. And we've literally been doing that with affirmative action in university since, like, the 80s. So
how do you know about the prison system?
So you think that there's discrimination against white people in college, but they still were they were still representative of the most amount of the student population?
Yeah, because of test scores, because a lot of times universities look at test scores to try to let in the most qualified people. And so that's why, and also because white people are the majority of the population, so of course there's going to be more white people.
Yeah, but I mean, you were just suggesting that wasn't the case. So I was just trying to see if we were on the same level there.
I wasn't suggesting that's not the case, that there's more white people.
So right off the bat, they hit us with the white privilege statement. And honestly, I was waiting to see how the conservative women would handle this, because this is one of those topics where if you are not careful, you can get steamrolled. But what happened here was actually really interesting because the liberal side tried to make their case using the police pullover argument. And look, I am not going to sit here and say that there are zero disparities in policing, because that would be dishonest. But here is the thing that gets me. One of the liberal women literally admitted on camera that she got pulled over while intoxicated at 19 years old and nothing happened to her. She is a white woman. So she is using her own personal experience of getting away with something as proof that the system favors white people and somehow that is supposed to convince the conservative side? Because from where I am sitting, that just sounds like she got lucky and a cop used discretion. That is not systemic. That is one interaction. And then the conversation shifts. And this is where it gets really good, because Sarah comes in and says, look, I have been told to my face that I am not getting a job because they need more diversity. And Jennifer backs her up. These are real women sharing real experiences of being passed over specifically because of their skin color. And nobody on the liberal side had an answer for that. They just pivoted. Because how do you respond to someone telling you they were denied an opportunity based on race and then say, oh, but white privilege though? Jennifer then makes a point that honestly more people need to hear. She says there is actually a colored privilege in America. And before anyone loses their mind over that phrase, think about what she is actually saying. If there are policies in place that specifically advantage one group over another based on race is by definition a racial preference system. You can call it equity, you can call it diversity initiatives, you can call it whatever makes you comfortable. But at the end of the day, if someone with lower qualifications gets chosen over someone with higher qualifications because of their skin color, that is discrimination. Period. And what is wild is that this has been happening in universities since the 1980s through affirmative action. Jennifer pointed that out, and the liberal side could not dispute it. They tried to redirect, but the facts were already on the table.
I'm saying that there's been like a systemic effort to rid white people of power in our institutions. And
okay, what institution do you not see white people being the main people in power?
I just
no. What institution do you not see
action.
White people being the main people in power? If that's the case, then I would think that there's like some evidence of it.
Do you understand, like per capita affirmative action? Like, if you're specifically saying like we're not going to allow this person in this college because they're white, and we're going to let in a colored person with a lower test score, that isn't a systemic effort to reduce white power in institutions.
I would argue that's a systemic effort to allow people who are not given a position of privilege in society an opportunity.
That is not true. That is just not true. I don't know why you're even saying that, because you're talking about people that can have the same score. So
no.
Yeah, that there are wholly qualified people.
You can just look at the average test scores per race and then look at the average percentage of university enrollment and see that white people are underrepresented for their amount of test scores per capita of the population, extremely underrepresented.
What is your aversion to diversity?
I don't want to be replaced at a job because I'm white.
You are not being replaced.
I literally just said I've not gotten jobs
so
because
have I,
of diversity.
But I don't feel like I'm being replaced.
That's what that is. You could have got that job if you were black. So how is that not being replaced? That's what affirmative action is. What do you think it is?
No, that was casting. That's what that was. It was casting. But why is it hard for you not to just go, I did not get that one, let me go for this one?
Yeah, I will do that, but you think black people would be chill with that if it's oh, sorry, you're black, you can't get that job. I think they have been chill with that. I don't think so. We had a whole civil rights movement, so I don't think that was very chill.
You got a problem with the civil rights movement?
Because they were being discriminated against, so they started.
You think they should still be slaves?
What?
I mean,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they weren't chill with being discriminated against.
You think that we should still have them at the back of the bus?
No.
These things happen so that we could have equality. Why is equality difficult for you?
How is it equality for me to not get a job because I'm white?
Why is it a problem to just work harder?
I mean, how would you feel if white people said that to black people pre-civil rights?
I feel like you probably say that to black people post-civil rights.
Well, I do not say that to black people.
I heard you use the word colored in reference to people, and it's 2025.
I'm pretty sure I said people of color.
You said colored people.
People of color.
Oh, sorry. People of color, colored people. Why is one the politically correct thing and one is the worst thing to say in the world? It's
you know what?
Changing two words around.
The reality is that neither you or myself is the right person to make that decision, because neither one of us is a person of color.
Now, this is where the conversation really starts heating up, because Chelsea asks Jennifer a question that I think was supposed to be a gotcha moment. She goes, "What is your aversion to diversity?" And I need everyone to really sit with that for a second, because that question is designed to make you look bad, no matter how you answer it. If you say, I have no problem with diversity, then they say, great, so you support affirmative action. If you push back, then suddenly you are anti-diversity. It is a trap question, and Jennifer did not fall for it. She said, I do not want to be replaced at a job because I am white. Simple, direct, honest. And the response she got was, you are not being replaced. To which Jennifer fires back with, I literally just said I have not gotten jobs. Like she just told you with real examples from her real life that she has been passed over, and the response is, nah, that is not happening. How do you tell someone their lived experience is not real? Because I thought that was the whole thing, right? We are supposed to listen to lived experiences? We are supposed to believe people when they share their truth? But apparently that only applies when it fits a certain narrative. And then Sarah jumps in and says the same thing happened to her, and the liberal woman literally laughed it off. Laughed. And then said, well, I do not feel like I am being replaced. Oh, okay, so your feelings determine reality for everyone else? And then we get to what I think is the most important exchange in this entire segment. Chelsea says to Jennifer, why is it hard for you to just go, I did not get that one, let me go for this one? And Jennifer absolutely cooks her with a response. She goes, you think black people would be chill with that? Like, oh, sorry you are black, just go find another one. And what does Chelsea say? She says we had a whole civil rights movement. And I do not think she realized what she just did, because she literally proved Jennifer right. The civil rights movement happened because people were being discriminated against based on their race. That is exactly what Jennifer is saying is happening to her. So either discrimination based on race is wrong across the board, or it is not. You cannot have it both ways. That was a checkmate moment, and Chelsea walked right into it.
I can say whatever I want. What you're saying, I can't make the. You're in the other room talking about free speech.
I'm telling you why it's not socially acceptable. I'm not telling you that you're not allowed to say it, am I? I was just giving you the reason of why it's not socially acceptable. Are there any words that like
black people can't say that aren't socially acceptable, or is it just white people?
Well, I feel like black people are, generally speaking, a minority population. They're not coming from a position of power that you are.
They're allowed to say anything.
So we're talking about a power dynamic. You know, like what we're having a conversation about is a power dynamic.
Okay, I have a comment. Okay, so do you know the statistics of, you think that black people get longer prison sentences? Do you know anyone?
I don't know. I couldn't quote them off the top of my head, but I know they're there. And it's something around like 30% higher. It's not a small number.
No, it's not.
What is it?
I know very much about the prison system.
Well, what is it?
And everyone is. I don't know
you
the
don't
number.
Know it. Okay.
I don't
All right,
know
I'm
the
glad we
number.
had that talk.
But
What do you know, how do you know,
my
what do you
brother
know
was
about
the
the
high
prison system?
security deputy warden at 3 prisons in Michigan. My father did all the maintenance for all the prisons in Michigan.
Am I supposed to feel grateful that you come from a family of slavers? I don't understand.
What?
No, they're not slavers. They were federal government employees. Okay, they worked very hard. There's very equal rights in the prison system.
You think people who work at a prison are slavers?
I think I think that the United States prison system is an extension of slavery and has been used as such, and it was codified into the United States Constitution to say that
someone
people
kills somebody.
Huh?
So we're not supposed to have a prison system if somebody kills somebody?
That's not what I said.
What if someone raped and murdered?
I don't want to deal in hypotheticals. That wasn't the conversation we were having.
What do you think the solution should be?
Somebody like the president?
Yeah, if the president raped or murdered your family member, do you want him to go to prison?
There, we can go there.
I mean,
you mean like the president?
What's the alternative to prison? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, the alternative to prison is reform. The alternative to prison is treating people like human beings. The alternative to prison is adopting.
Practically, what does it actually look like in the real world?
I don't know. Ask Sweden. Ask the United Kingdom. Ask Germany. Ask France. Yeah, but they all treat them like human beings.
And they also have much higher levels of rape in recent years, probably because of that. Because they were just
if I made stuff up, we could continue having a conversation based up on made up stuff all the time.
It's not making stuff up. You can just look at rape stats.
All the white people are raping everyone all the time. Sorry, guys. It's just a fact because I said it out loud.
Well, it's not. I mean, per capita, you can look at who rapes more, black people or white people.
Donald Trump?
It's definitely.
Oh no!
You're not even engaging in this conversation. Who rapes more per capita, black men or white men?
I would guess white.
Really?
That's a guess. Oh, absolutely.
You should look at FBI stats and break it down.
White women have a unique responsibility in social justice movements.
All right, so the conversation keeps going, and honestly, this last stretch is where the liberal side completely falls apart. Because we go from the language policing moment, which was already a little ridiculous, into the prison system debate. And this is where things go off the rails. One of the conservative women is sharing that her brother was a deputy warden and her father worked in prison maintenance, and she is trying to establish that she actually has first-hand knowledge of the system. And Mo responds with, am I supposed to feel grateful that you come from a family of slavers? Slavers. She called federal government employees who worked in corrections slavers. And I need people to understand how unhinged that is, because these are people who showed up to work every day, did a difficult job, and served their country. You do not have to love the prison system to recognize that calling working-class government employees slavers is absurd and honestly disrespectful to the actual history of slavery. And by the way, there is an important distinction here that a lot of people miss. The 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in 1865, does contain a clause that allows involuntary servitude as punishment for a crime. That is a real thing, and it is worth discussing. But discussing a constitutional clause and calling individual prison workers slavers to their family members' face are two very different things. Then Jennifer asks a perfectly reasonable question. What is the alternative to prison? And the answer she gets is reform. Okay, cool. What does that look like practically? I do not know, ask Sweden. Ask Sweden, that is your answer? You want to completely reimagine the American justice system and your entire plan is ask another country? That is not a policy position, that is a Google search. And then the absolute peak moment happens when Jennifer tries to have a serious conversation about crime statistics and Chelsea just says Donald. Like that is her response to a data question. And then she goes, all the white people are just out here doing bad things all the time. Sorry guys, that is just a fact because I said it out loud. And she thought that was clever, but what it actually showed is that she had no data, no statistics, and no argument. She replaced substance with sarcasm because she had nothing left. And that is the fundamental problem with a lot of these conversations. When one side brings data and the other side brings jokes, you can see exactly who came prepared and who came to perform. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.